Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we're going to work on something fun. A beaded icicle using my November Ambassador kit from Jesse James Beads. So let's turn down and we'll get some stuff going and we'll see what it looks like. And I hope you enjoy this. Okay, so this is the rough sketch I drew up of our icicle. So let's get some beads out and get this working. These are my two bead mixes I got from my Ambassador kit this month. Not a cute little red bow. So I'm going to decide what I want to use out of both of these. I had to rubber band that one because it didn't want to stay closed. So we want to start with a big one at the top and then taper down to smaller. So I think we'll start with this big one here. We are going to use one of these prisms. Let's see, maybe this one too. Oop, let's not throw that away. I'm going to put a little briolet at the bottom, this little blue one. I think we'll leave that gold one there. And then we have this, maybe up here. Though maybe that's a little too much gold. Let's go put that one back in here and get that sort of smoky one back out over here. What did I do with it? Oh goodness. Oh, there it is, right there. So maybe here, this. Now we're going to want to get some smaller beads in here. So here's a nice little one down here. Maybe one of these blues to pull in the blue from the little briolet. And one of these funny, funky shaped beads. They're really pretty though, aren't they? Even if they are a really funny shape. And let's see, do we want anything else in here now? Maybe one of these as well. Okay, now what we need to do is find some bead spacers. And I know one of these kits, there they are, had these little caps that will fit really well on the prisms. So let's find another one of those. There we go. Oh, and we got another cap came out with us, and that's good because that can go on. Let's see if it'll fit this one good. Yeah. These are more of a conforming shape, so that's great. Let's see what else we want to use here. Now, if you didn't want to use the briolet down here, you could use nothing at all, or you could use one of these caged crystals. That would be really pretty too. Let's see here. Now we're going to wire wrap it, so I don't want to use anything that's going to not quite work with a wire wrap. Let's see, will this fit on these, this little one here? No, I don't think I like that. It would work, but I don't think I like it. So we're not going to do that. let's see. Okay, I think I'm going to have to get in my stash to get some more spacers, and we'll do that. Ooh, I got it to close finally. And then we'll get some wire. After giving it a little thought, I'm going to pull out this particular bead because I usually only use 7 beads, and I've got 7 plus the briolette. So we'll take this guy out, and we're going to get our gold spacers for down here. And you could do without the spacers if you wanted to, because we're going to wire wrap it back up the top to the top. So you know, that's a choice of yours. Everybody has got their own way of doing things. I just tend to like some spacers, so I'm going to put a couple of little spacers in. And this one, these don't really need them because they have the caps on either side. So now that we've got our beads all decided on, we need to get the wire cut, and we're going to use 20 gauge German style wire. Now, if you want it to be heavier, you can always use 18, but remember you have to get your beads to go through, and some beads have small holes. So if you're going to do that, always check to see if your bead will go on your wire. And like I said, I'm going to go with 20 gauge, but we'll get that cut and we'll start putting this together. Remember, when you're cutting your wire, you need about 2.5 to 3 times the length of your bead strand. So there's about 1, here's 2, and about there. Should be good. So let's cut that off. Don't have much of my 20 gauge left. We'll put that up there. Get our wires pretty well straightened out as much as we can. I'm going to use one of these wire straighteners for this. Come on, babe, go on. The rest with my fingers. Okay, now the first thing we want to do is to make a wrapped loop at the top, and I make a relatively good sized wrap loop because some people like to use ribbon or just hang it right on the bough of your tree when you're done with this. So I'm gonna just use my bell making pliers, and I like to use for this, I like to use the smaller of my large one, the smaller side of the large bell making pliers. And then we want to wrap like 3 or 4 wraps, just like you would any wrapped loop. And then cut off the excess. And tuck the extra wire in. I don't know if you can get it. Remember, you've got this tail to work with, and it's going to get in your way to a degree. Just got to accept that fact and work around it. Now that we have our loop made, we need to start stringing on our beads. Now these bead caps are conforming, so you can squish them down and make them fit a little better, as you can see. And I like that. Get the rest of our beads on here. Now when we get down to the briolet, we have a couple of choices, of course. Number one is to just make a loop at the bottom and hang this like you by just doing the briolet like a regular wrap and then just hang it off the end. Or you can hang your briolet in here. And what I'm going to try and do, I'm not sure if it'll work or not, is to see if I can just slide my briolet down on a loop. Let's see if we can do that. Might not go because, you know, sometimes they don't like to do that. Come on, baby, go in the hole. There we go. Though it doesn't really have a lot of movement, which sort of mystifies me. You'd think it would have more. There. Then we'll wrap 3 or 4 times around the base here. In a wrapped loop there. And then we're going to let the beads fall down a bit and we're going to start wrapping around them. Now if your loops aren't the same direction, you can just take hold of it and twist like I just did. But next we're going to do the wire wrapping up the icicle. So let's get the wire wrapping going. Just take it and push your bead down to the bottom, pull it up, and just go around your beads in a looping fashion. Round up, round up, round up, around up, around. And then when we get up here at the top, like we just did, we're going to just wrap over the other wraps. And when we're done with that, we'll take the excess wire and we'll clip it off. And then we're going to tuck that little tail right up into the loop. It's not quite as straight as I would like it, but we can straighten it out just a touch more. And there's the end. Tuck it in. Come on, baby, go inside the loop. There we go. That's what we want. And there we have it. There's our icicle. Isn't that pretty? Now we can make it a hook if we want to. By simply getting a little bit more wire and making the hook up on top. And there we go. Nice, simple, pretty, makes a great tree decoration. Or, as you can see, I had a few inches left, but not only a few. And you could wrap this tighter and you would, with more wraps if you wanted, and then you would use more of your wire up. And you could also do your briolet separately and just put a loop here and then hook the briolet on if you wished to do it that way. But now we could make a hook if we wish and for the tree, and let's do that. What was left and sort of straighten it out as best I can. So what we're going to do to make the hook is we want to make a small loop on the one side. Oh, this one needs trimmed. And you can make it, you know, really small or bigger, however you want. This is the piece that's going to hook onto your hook here. So I'm just make a simple loop at the bottom and for my bottom piece. And then for the top, you want to get your large bell making pliers and just bring it around in a hook, and then just sort of straighten this side like this. And there you have a hook. And if you want it rounder, you can always make it rounder. You could make it have used like a Sharpie or something like that to make your loop here. There. Makes a more rounded one. And then you cut off your extra little bit. And you make a tiny loop on this side as an ending. And there you go. There's a hook. And you just hook the hook onto here. In fact, let's do that. Let's get all my tools out of the way here first. So just open this up like you would a jump ring or an ear wire. Put your icicle in and close her back up. And there you have a pretty icicle with a hook. And actually, I should have hardened this hook. So let's just set it across the side like this and give it a couple whacks to harden it up. There we go. That's much nicer. So one pretty little icicle. Now while you're working on this, it might bend on you, but since it's wire, you can usually ease it back into place pretty good. And I hope you like that little guy. Okay, so there's our finished icicle. Pretty little thing. You can make these however you want, which, you know, from whatever beads you want. I personally prefer to start with a large bead and go down to a smaller bead. And I don't always put the briolette on the bottom. In fact, I rarely do. I just thought it looked like a little drop of water, so I thought that would be really cute. If you don't put the briolette on it, you can either make a little loop here and hang another dangle if you want, or you can just turn it. Just turn the wire. Don't even make any wraps or anything. Just turn it and start your wire wrapping up your icicle. But anyway, this makes a gorgeous tree hanger. Makes really pretty in the window. This one has no distinct Christmas colors for sure, so it would work great as a window hanger year-round. So anyway, there's our icicle. I hope you enjoyed this. This is Rose from In Rose's Garden. Bye-bye.